So thank you for coming back. We are the Game and Movie Empire show. I am Arthur. I'm here with...
Voluptuous Watson.
That's what
That's
I call
my new
him.
nickname.
Yeah. We are going to be talking about video games for this hour. First of all, you're going to want to call in for this. Well, that would be best. But we're giving away Deus Ex. I've got a Steam key for that. So if you have a PC...
And this game's awesome. And it's the newest one.
Yeah. I'm not sure if there's a subtitle, but just Deus Ex.
Director's Edition.
Yeah, the director's cut. But yes, so the question that you'll need to answer is what is the name of the actor who will be playing Aquaman?
And just a reminder, we take priority of those who call in.
Yes.
So if you call in, you definitely get a better chance at winning this video game. But if you would prefer, you can email us at watson@jwatproductions.com, JWAT productions.com. But the priorities get in the phone number, which you can give again.
And the phone number I did not give yet is 801-254-5855. Again, that is 254-5855. And for those who are not local, the number is 1-888-919-2355.
And who is the actor who's going to play Aquaman?
Yeah. So one more time, 1-888-919-2355. So
awesome.
Please call in. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to give you Deus Ex. That being said, we shall move on. Where do we want to start?
Well, an awesome announcement happened not too long ago. The new Batman movie is coming out, Batman game, Arkham Knight, and it's coming out in June. And a little awesome news happened today. Happened this last week. Rocksteady announced that the video game is going to have an M rating, or got an M rating, which all the other games up to this point have had rated T. So, and what was awesome in the article, it talked about that, they are understanding that it means it might, shut out a lot of players, because a lot of their audience was in a younger age. But that didn't stop people from getting Grand Theft Auto. No. And what I really liked about it is they focused on the story and that they didn't worry too much about rating, which is awesome. They did say they're shocked about it, so I think they still tried to make it.
Are there any X-rated games?
I'm sure.
I just was curious. I mean, if they have some that are really over.
I know that they made in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. They made an X. Well, what happened was there was a bug in there that someone found out about it, and it made it so that it was A-rated. I don't need to go into detail, but it was called Hot Coffee Mode.
Yeah, but the thing is like basically none of the console makers will sell the AO adult-only rating games on their consoles, so you can only get them on PC, and well, you'd have to look for them. Let's just say that.
Yeah. But I think they are out there. So, cool. But so that was there. So, what are your thoughts, Arthur, about having and you guys out there in the chat or whatever?
Yeah.
What do you feel about having this next what do you call it? Next Batman,
Arkham Knight.
Yeah. A-rated M.
Well, like for me, I mean, I think the first Arkham Asylum game was like, I mean, it was a great game. I loved it. And then Arkham City just went a little darker, as well as Arkham Origins. And so, like, honestly, they were more mature anyways. So I think that for whatever reason, like maybe because it looks more realistic, I think that's probably part of it, let's face it. Because when it's cartoony, you don't take the violence quite as seriously as when it looks more realistic. So, honestly, I doubt it's going to be very different from the other ones. Maybe, a little more cursing, maybe slightly more blood or violence or something like that. But I doubt, I mean, the developers weren't trying to get an M rating. They weren't necessarily super surprised, but that wasn't their intention. So, yeah.
Yeah, my thoughts, like I kind of already mentioned, I'm really excited that they just focused on story, didn't worry about rating, and they just told a good story. Like, that's at least what they're saying. It could maybe not end up being good, you never know.
Yeah.
But so far what we've seen, it looks awesome. I mean, you get the Batmobile, the Gotham is much bigger and
gorgeous.
And extremely gorgeous. I mean, being on current gen / next gen from the last games, it's going to look awesome. I mean, to be honest, all the Batman games look great on PC. Just gonna say, but I'm really excited to check that game out. I think it's gonna be awesome.
Oh yeah,
and then wait. They just released a trailer that I showed you.
Oh yeah,
and the trailer's awesome. It features the storyline and who's all going to be in it, and obviously it's all the awesome villains and Scarecrow, and we see Two-Face, which is interesting because it looks like Two-Face, at least what they made to believe in the trailer, it looks like Two-Face and the Penguin are pissed off of what's going on. So I wonder why they're not. Penguin always seems to do what he wants to do anyways. He doesn't necessarily sometimes feel like he's in the mix of everything. So, but he still knows information and, always has to go, or Batman always has to go through him to get what he wants. So, yeah.
My thing is, though, that, like, honestly, and I mean this, like, I think those Batman games were some of the best games that came out in this last console generation.
Oh, yeah.
Like, hands down, like, I loved them, but I'm a huge fan of, like, Metroid and Zelda type games.
Totes.
And, like, it's an interesting comparison, but they really are similar.
Totally, in a sense. Oh, goodness, sorry. I've been up for a while. But, awesome. Awesome. So Scott mentioned about Batman, another Batman that feels the same as the others from a gameplay perspective.
Well, I'm okay with that. It might be redundant.
I think they need some improvements. Maybe that's why they have the Batmobile in there. But hopefully that'll end up working out. So
yeah, but one thing that Daniel mentioned too that I thought is interesting is he just doesn't want it to be too dreary. And like, I think that's kind of like, think about like The Dark Knight and like The Dark Knight Rises and like The Empire Strikes Back and now The Avengers 2. You've got some really kind of dark movies, but they're always so good.
Yeah.
And I don't know why.
We're a sucker for them right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, we were...
No, these games, I know I always see, like, if you look at IMDb, the actors, then do they narrate the games too? So if you play a Dark Knight game, is it going to be Christian Bale that's going to be the voice?
It depends on the actor. They might.
I mean, is that pretty common that you'll...
Actually, not really. I mean, there's
depends on the game.
I mean, well, what I mean as by that is usually, when it's from a movie to a game, majority of the time the actors don't transfer over.
Gotcha. Okay.
But however,
those are horrible games
anyway. A lot more video games nowadays are starting to go to big time actors. Like there's a movie that has Susan Sarandon that plays a really important part, or Rage has John Goodman in it, and he plays one of the biggest parts. And then Fallout 3 has Liam Neeson in it, and then Matthew Perry plays one of the main villains in Fallout Vegas. So the movie stars are starting to cross those lines, and I think that's really smart idea to do.
Oh, yeah. What I think is great about the Batman games in particular, though, is not every voice actor, but a lot of them are the original voice actors from like the 90s animated series,
right,
which was really good.
Mark Hamill.
Yes.
Right?
And Mark Hamill did do the voice for the first two.
Yeah, the first two.
The first two, Mark Hamill did the voice in the game for
the
Joker.
Oh, and phenomenal job.
Speaking of when I said Kingsman, Mark Hamill is in Kingsman.
He is.
So you should see it.
I will.
Yeah.
So yeah, next up we had talking about is Valve. You should lead on this one because I don't know too much about what's going on, although I'm excited for it.
Sure.
Please.
Well, so the cool thing is that GDC is next week, and Valve is going to have a lot going on there. The bad news, well, okay, I'm going to be on a trip in Disneyland, so I'm not going to pay attention to
Rub it in,
news.
okay?
Yeah, I just had to say it. But yeah, so that's all that's going to be going on, and So the cool thing is depending on how closely you have been following Valve or Steam's Steam OS, Steam Box, Steam Controller, I mean, it's somewhere between, like, ultimately it is a PC, a Linux-based PC type thing that is kind of directly, indirectly competing with consoles and PCs, somewhere in the middle. But I think it's really interesting what Valve is trying to do. It's giving you another option aside from just like Windows, and obviously there's Mac, but that's never been a huge like game kind of competitor.
Mac,
yeah. But so they're talking about having some big panels from some big Valve developers, as well as maybe showing off Steam boxes, Steam controllers, stuff like that. So very exciting stuff.
Welcome back to the Gaming Movie Empire Show. I'm your host, Alex Watson McFly, with my beautiful host,
Arturo,
Artissimo.
Yeah, whatever you want to call him.
And we're also here with the awesome Pat. He's the one who started the show. Once again, a huge thanks to him. So we were talking about Valve. Keep going.
And Steam. So for those of you who may have missed, I'll just try to make it quick. GDC is next week, and Valve, they're kind of working on their own Linux-based PC/console with their own operating system, which is Linux, and then their own controller, that sort of thing. And we don't know exactly what's going to be announced. They have talked about showing off their final version of the controller. And it's really unique. Watson, you want to tell them about the controller? What you think about it?
Well, now, okay, first off, I built a PC strictly based off of this, which I call it the Flux box, after Flux Capacitor, Back to the Future. But the reason why I built it was because they were coming out with this new controller. And now I've only heard things that you've told me, but from what I can tell, basically what they want to do is they want to create a controller that can be used across everything, right? All their games, which to me is awesome because, I grew up as a console gamer. I didn't really play much of PC. I mean, when I was a kid, I did Roller Coaster Tycoon and Civilization, and that's about it. But I really have been a console gamer. So there's so many awesome PC games that, now on Steam, you can only use a keyboard, which, I get used to it. Like, I played Mass Effect strictly on a keyboard and mouse, and I did fine. But I think it's a brilliant idea.
I also do. Just
tell them a little bit about, like, we don't know exactly what it's going to have.
Sure.
But the rumors, I guess, that they have for it.
So, like, it's definitely going to have these touch pads, kind of like on a laptop keyboard type thing. But instead of analog sticks.
You can't say this. They don't know what you're talking about.
I said laptop.
Okay.
But, so they're going to have touch pads instead of analog
Technical
sticks.
comedy.
But so they're supposed to be more sensitive than analog sticks, and they're going to be more like, using a mouse, which is the one thing that most PC gamers think about using analog sticks. They just don't find them. They're just tuned differently, let's just say. And so it can be hard adjustment for specific games. But this controller, like, Valve is supporting it in such a way where, like, it's going to be very simple to basically come up with control schemes for older games without having to go through the pain of, like...
And mapping them.
Yeah, like, mapping controls for games with, like, 20 buttons is a pain in the butt. And so this is kind of going to fix a lot of that. Maybe not everything.
Yeah,
but...
and they did announce the controller, and they showed off the controller, but now it's said to be different than what we originally saw it from. So it'll be pretty cool. I mean, originally it was just two big touchpads, wasn't it? And then, so that's interesting.
And the buttons were all in weird places, and then, like, they moved the buttons to the normal place, and now it's probably going to have an analog stick.
Gotcha.
And so, like, we don't know exactly what changes they've made, but it'll be cool to see.
So, and then another thing that they mentioned, or that is rumored, is that Steam might be coming out, or Valve might be coming out with their own VR. Is that correct?
Yeah, and so this is the thing that, like, I mean, they've been working with Oculus Rift a lot.
Right.
And
in
a lot
fact, I had suspicions that I was hoping that Valve would be the ones to buy Oculus Rift, but I guess they didn't.
Cool.
So
Yeah.
obviously they didn't. Facebook did. So,
but
but
yeah,
you can't. It's really hard to beat Facebook when it comes to money. So
seriously, they have a lot of money. But yeah, some of Valve's top developers left for Oculus Rift, and so like Valve has Steam VR is what they're calling it, and they haven't said if it's going to be like an interface, if it's going to be their own hardware, or what exactly it is. I mean, it could just be like.
So is it confirmed that they have some kind of VR project working?
Well, they're going to have what do you call it? Not a press conference, but a panel talking about Steam VR. So,
it has to be something going on.
Yeah, so it may not actually be hardware; it may just be software to support VR.
Cool. Well, a lot of their games are first person, so that would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, so it's hard to say. I mean, and maybe they will kind of go into like their new game engine that they've been working on for a while, and maybe they'll be shown some gameplay of like.
They will never talk about Half-Life 3.
No.
But they might talk about a new Left 4 Dead, which would be cool.
Left 4 Dead would be
which
cool.
I know that they've been working on. That's what they said. So that could be really sweet.
So, yeah, it's hard to say. I mean.
But, totes. Totally. Anything else with that?
One thing I will say, just some people have been mentioning some comments. I was curious to look at Steam OS, and like I try to compare it to like a PS4 and Xbox One, and there's 4,500 games on Steam on the PC. 1,000 of them have already been ported to Linux, which I thought was pretty impressive, actually.
Sure.
But it's only 20%, and sadly, there's only a few like big games or like ones that are heavy graphically. Like we're talking Civ 5, Metro 2033, The Witcher, Borderlands, and like a few others. Like, but most of them are indie games. Great games, but like there's a lot of games on Steam OS, the Linux operating system, but not necessarily the ones you want. Not yet.
Right, totally.
It could take 5 or 10 years before a big change happens. Who knows? I don't know.
Who knows?
Maybe sooner.
But we'll be there, and we'll be
we will.
giving Steam our money every step of the way. Steam or Valve.
They've
every
already
step of
got
the
it.
way.
They've got all my money.
Totally. Totes.
So, yeah.
Cool.
Exciting. Fun stuff.
Next thing we want to talk about might have just been our games, if I remember correctly. Hey,
yeah, that's kind of where we are.
All right. Is that what's up next?
Yeah.
All right. Well, Arthur, what have you? You talk too much. It's my turn.
Yeah, you talk.
I'm just being funny. So games we're playing right now. Right now, I bought Majora's Mask. I also got Ocarina of Time, but then recently got Majora's Mask. And so, funny thing, I'm playing Majora's Mask, and I'm also playing Dying Light. So, thanks to Joey for letting me borrow it. And the reason why I borrowed it is because I was really worried that it wasn't going to be a good game, but I'm wrong. It's fantastic. Here's the thing, though. I found out I can't play 2 games at once. Like, I have really weird dreams. Just imagine Dying Light and Majora's Mask mixed. That's what I've been experiencing at night. And, playing a game in first person, it's a lot easier to have those kind of dreams. So, but they're awesome. They were epic dreams. But it's just that I would get into this mode of like, what should I play? Like, I'm conflicted. Like, I want to play them at the exact same time, but I can't. So what I do is I'm like, I get into this weird funk, and then I end up not playing any of them. And I'm like, and then I end up watching Netflix, and that's not, and I even feel bad about it. I'm like, I should have just played a game. I should play a game. So now I've decided I'm going to finish Dying Light, and then I'm going to move on to Majora's Mask, which Majora's Mask I'm also almost finished with. The really cool thing about Dying Light that I've really liked so far, and we have plenty of time, so I'm going to talk about it.
Go for it, man.
So I was really worried about Dying Light. What was awesome though is like you saw it.
Oh, yeah.
You started off in this pretty big like place, but it was like underneath a huge bridge and stuff. And like I thought the whole game takes place there. So I was, collecting everything. I was doing all the missions there because I was thinking it's about to end. Then all of a sudden during the main story, it's like, all right, it's time to cross through the sewers to get to this other place. And I just thought, okay, it's probably going to be for a side mission. I go, and now it's an entirely different town. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. So it's in Dubai, which it was where it's located.
That's cool.
Yeah. So we were wondering where that was, and that's where it's from. So you go from like the slums of it to the rich part of Dubai, and like, have you seen it? Have I shown you?
I actually
it yet?
haven't seen that. That
You
sounds
should see it.
scary.
It's cool. Like it's the buildings are really tall, so like if you fall, you're basically dead. And if you don't know what Dying Light is, it's basically a zombie game but free run or parkour.
Yeah, same thing.
And
Well, it's not.
but it's awesome, and the story isn't necessarily anything that's super gripping, but I mean it's enough that it carries. Really, the gameplay of this is awesome, and like you have your own experiences, and like one time, and I actually recorded this, and you can see it on our YouTube channel, but there was randomly throughout the city you'll be running around, and you'll see these thug guys like that always try and steal your stuff and always try and they were beating up a survivor. So if you save them, you get points. So they're beating up this dude, and like I ran up and jumped, and I was like on top, and they turned and looked at me, and they're like, "Oh, come down and fight us like a man." And they're like taunting me, right? So I went back and I grabbed a knife, a throwing knife, and I threw it at one of them, and this was on top of a roof. Threw it at one of them, hit one of them. He was like, oh, and like stumbled back and fell off the roof and was like, whoa! And then the other two dudes look, and as they were looking, I run and jump off and just am like being super awesome. And like I throw a Molotov and then just start. See, I'm getting excited about this. If you could see me in person, you'd be laughing at me but so yeah, I've been playing that, and I also been playing First Light. Because some reason I get, which is Second Son, First Light, the DLC. Because for some reason I get itches with that. So, but the next game I'll probably start playing after I beat all those games is going to be Knights of the Old Republic, and I'm hoping to record it and do like a game series of it. So, yeah. What about you, Arthur?
Cool. Well, first I want to say though that like Dying Light is a pretty awesome game.
It's beautiful looking too.
Yeah, and like if you liked games like Far Cry, then yeah, you definitely love it.
Yeah.
Or Mirror's Edge or zombie games,
all
the above. But me, honestly, I've been getting a little gamer guilt like Watson, where it's like I have this ginormous Steam back catalog. And it's like, where do I even begin? So it's like, maybe I can
start with Knights of the Old Republic. He hasn't played it yet.
Yes, I have not played it yet.
Seriously, it's Star Wars.
No, I love Star Wars. I'm not huge into role-playing games.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah.
But I could probably do Knights of the Old Republic.
But it's very simple RPG.
I've played some of it. It's just one of those things where I just stopped playing in the middle. Not because I don't know why. I just did.
I get you.
But yeah, like the games I've been playing are more indie titles and kind of like short and sweet stuff. That's what I really like. One I played recently was Gone Home, and I don't know if I mean it's been a pretty big popular game, and I just finally got around to it. I was very impressed by the storytelling of it. Like, it's a game where you don't go around killing people. You're wandering through a house trying to basically figure out what happened to your younger sister, and you're just examining different things in the house, kind of learning the story of what happened. And yeah, it's surprisingly emotional and very well told, and I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
So I played Gone Home.
Yeah, and if no one knows who Adam Sessler is, I know you have a love-hate relationship with him.
I don't hate him.
Oh, well, sometimes you don't tend to agree with his reviews.
Well, I don't always agree with him now.
I get you. Well, Adam Sessler is one of my favorite video game reviewers. Sadly, he doesn't do much anymore. But he gave it the year, the best game of the year, I think, a year or two ago. And I think it was really good. I think they did really good at storytelling and building up to things. And I won't lie, I was scared for a lot of the thing because it kind of felt like a. And I think they did that on purpose because there was creaky noises.
Yeah,
there was certain things.
Kind of a haunted house vibe, but it's really the cool thing about it is like if you just want to experience the game without being scared, you can actually like there's a setting that keeps all the lights on if you want to do it that way.
Oh, I didn't know that. Interesting.
And I thought that was interesting too. I was just like, it's like. They're not trying to force you to do something. They just want you to experience the story however you would prefer it. But
Totes.
yeah.
What else?
Cool.
Anything else?
So there's that. Also, I've been playing a game called Tinker World of Color. And this is another indie game. The best way I can describe it, it's almost like it feels kind of like Mario Galaxy and Viva Pinata. Somewhere between that. It's a platformer, extremely colorful, very cartoony. It's a kid's game pretty much.
I think you mentioned that you don't connect to it well. Is that what you were saying?
Well, the thing about it is like, and maybe
how about we get to that in a second?
Oh,
because we have a caller.
Oh, we have a caller. Well, put him on the phone.
Wow, anger.
Please.
Hi, you're on the Game and Movie Empire show. How are you?
Doing good. It's Daniel Wood. I just wanted to call in.
Hey.
Yay. I just wanted to call in about what I've been playing.
Dude, that's great. Tell us what you've been playing. I seen a lot of your posts on the Utah Gamers. Did you find your Battlefield 2?
Yeah, Battlefront 2. I actually got it just today.
Dude,
from the
nice.
help of another Utah gamer. So,
Sweet.
the thing is, I've sort of been game hopping lately, and I've actually haven't been spending a lot of time on gaming. I've actually been watching more movies and anime lately.
Yeah, I've noticed.
But, for example, consistently, the game I've been most playing consistently would be Pokemon X. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the wonder trading mechanic, but you sort of send a Pokemon out into the ether, and whatever you get, like you just get some random Pokemon that someone else put into the ether.
Oh, really?
And so my friend and I, we just like made 2 teams out of entirely wonder traded Pokemon, and
nice.
it was pretty fun.
Did you get anything good?
I actually got some Pokemon that I didn't have in the Pokedex. I got a Charmander, so that turned into Charizard.
Oh, that would be cool.
That is way awesome.
I would like
and
to
then
get
some
Charmander.
other ones, and then like one like really useless one.
I gotcha. Yeah, because I went with Squirtle when I played Y. I played Y, and I really love Squirtle, and I don't regret my choice. But I saw the Mega Evolution of Charizard.
Oh yeah,
and I thought that was pretty cool. So
yeah, I picked Chespin, the grass starter, so I was going to go with Squirtle. But when I saw that Charizard got 2 Mega Evolutions, I was like, well, dang,
right.
I'm going to go with Charmander.
Oh yeah, totally. That's cool. What else have you been playing?
Yeah, so the other thing is the game I'm trying to beat is Final Fantasy VII, but I've been pretty bad about consistently playing that. I've played a few times this week, but
that's one you got to really dedicate to.
Yeah,
RPGs.
I've gotten pretty far into it, but I have no idea how much time I have left.
Yeah, would you hold on for the break? We'll bring you back on, okay?
Okay.
So stay on the line.
All right, and thank you. Welcome back to Game and Movie Empire. I'm Arthur. I'm here with...
You heard me. It's Watson.
And Pat here in the station.
I'm just
We also
chilling out.
We also have someone on the phone.
Yeah,
with
we have a
Daniel.
caller on the
Daniel, still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Awesome.
Cool,
man.
cool. Where were we? Pokemon?
Yeah, we're talking about Final Fantasy VII, but
Right.
there's not much to say there. It's a long game. I have no idea what I have left ahead of me, but
Have you
been fun.
played a lot of the other ones? Or are you starting with 7? I hear a lot of people start with
this
7.
is my first one. I just like the thing is, I sort of want to go for the classics. So I was like,
I get you.
What game should I beat? Like, what game do I have should I beat? You know what? Let's go with Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, that seems like a pretty good
Hey,
one.
yeah.
The new one looks pretty awesome. Like, I used to play Final Fantasy when I was a kid. Never really beat one. But the new Final Fantasy is kind of making me think, well, maybe I should try this again, and maybe do what you're doing. What are you playing it on?
I'm playing it on my PC with my controller, basically.
Oh, that's the way to do it.
I actually modded the game because apparently the game uses the PC version's audio, like not the original PS1 audio file, so I looked up how to switch them back to the original PS1 song.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, so I've been playing that. gotten to the part where you get thrown out of the gold UFO or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Definitely.
the other game I've been playing lately is on Friday. My friend came over and we spent like 3 hours playing. I'm not sure if you've heard of it. Have you ever heard of a game called Deadly Premonition?
You know,
heard of it.
I've been seeing a lot of
horror
people
one,
post
right?
about it.
Yeah, so it's,
How is it?
It's a horror game that came out in 2010.
Oh.
The thing is, it's like the world's most polarizing game. Either you think it's like a work of genius, or you think it's just horrible.
Uh-huh.
So what do you think?
The thing is, I think it's a pretty good game with
Nice.
some. The thing is, it's like, even though it's well developed, it looked like it was made on the PS2 in 2003.
When was
Oh,
it?
really?
But wasn't it made in like 2009 or something?
He said
It
2002.
came out in 2010, I believe.
Gotcha.
So the graphics
Yeah.
aren't the best, is what you're saying?
Yeah, the graphics look PS2 level, but like the characters are pretty good. Like
Sweet.
the whole, it's got sort of a Lynchian feel that's pretty good.
Cool.
It's a survival horror game with some open world elements.
Huh.
The map sucks, but like the survival horror stuff, it's clunky, but in the right way.
I get you. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. And of course, you always have time for Super Smash Brothers. It seems like.
Oh yeah. I played that again recently. I had not played in a while, and
So I wanted to ask you: is there like not necessarily a story mode, but like in all the other Super Smash Brothers, you can pick a character and you go and beat all the dudes and unlock characters. That's still there, right?
yeah, you can. There's still some single player modes, and you
Okay.
still unlock some of the characters. The thing is, this game is structured a little differently from the ones in the past, but I think
Okay.
it works. You start off with most of the characters, and it's really easy to unlock them. And on the one hand, there's that there's not as much accomplishment. But on the other hand, it meant that as soon as I got the game, we were able to do 8-player matches with most of the roster already. And there are
You've
plenty
done
of-
it with 8 players.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh,
It's
that'd
really
be
fun.
so fun. That would
Yeah,
be so fun.
and another thing is, like, before, they had, like, a story mode. Melee's adventure mode was kind of simple, but then Brawl had, like, cutscenes and stuff.
Uh-huh.
But then the creator, when he realized that people could just upload all the cutscenes and everything online, he was like, if people can just look it up online, I'm not sure if I want to do it. So what they did instead
Lame.
was they made, like, lengthy, really gorgeous cinematic reveal trailers for all the characters.
I see.
I kind of miss the story mode, but the thing is, I think the Smash is the best one because, like, the core gameplay, the multiplayer, it all feels like so good. It's
That's
like
awesome.
hard for me to go back to the other ones for several months because it's just so good.
Oh, totally. You know what I think we should do? I think we should go to a movie theater, we should do a Super Smash Brothers epic, I don't know if tournament's the thing, but do 8 people, throw it on the big screen.
That would be
and
awesome.
just that'd be so fun. And just maybe what we could do is have a couple groups of 8 and then do a final 8 or something.
That'd
That
be
would
awesome.
be so fun. That'd be really cool. Maybe we should get on that. So
Yeah, so that's been most of what I've been playing lately. So
awesome.
yeah, that's really all I have to say.
Awesome,
So,
man.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
thanks, Daniel. And you were one of the first people who supported us, and you were one of the first people that won prize. So, you're awesome. Thank you for supporting us, man. Please call in anytime, okay?
All right.
All right, you have a good rest of your night.
Yeah, you too.
Good night,
See ya.
Dan.
Awesome. He's a cool guy.
I agree.
So, yeah, and that's all you've been playing. Oh, and you wanted to talk about you kind of feel a little disconnected from what was the game again?
So the game I was talking about earlier was Tinker World of Color.
Gotcha.
I think it would probably be really great for kids. I'm playing it on easy mode because I don't have time for hard mode right now. As lame as that sounds, I don't want to play a game twice as long just because I want a more challenge. Sometimes I just like playing the game, but it's almost to the point where it's too easy. But
Playing Bejeweled in infant mode.
Ooh, there you go. That's what I'm talking
Yeah.
about, man.
But yeah, it's fun. I love indie games. I like how they try new things, and I love the art style in this one. But I've also been playing Dark Forces. So I don't know if anyone's played Dark Forces, kind of like the original Star Wars first-person shooter. But I found this cool mod where you can basically play it in HD. It uses the original files, but it looks a ton better. And I love that game. And
Which one again? Sorry?
Dark Forces.
Sorry, had a moment of...
Yeah.
went out of the zone for a second.
Yeah, but I love that game. And there was another game. I'm sure it was really amazing or whatever. But oh, Jazz Punk. I played Jazz Punk.
Did you beat it?
Yeah, I beat it. That game is the most ridiculous game ever. I mean,
love it.
Watson introduced me to it, but it's like it's like a 1960s weird robot future
spy thriller.
Yeah,
but it's 100% ridiculous.
Oh, it is absurd. Like, there's this moment where my favorite part of the game, I think, you're in this building trying to infiltrate this guy's penthouse. And you go into this room, and then there's this, attractive, blocky female robot. And she's on a bed. She's like, let's have a pillow fight. So you take a pillow and throw it at her, and she flies out the window.
Yeah.
I laughed so hard. Like, that's what that game is.
Or the guy living underneath the tarp of a pool.
Yeah.
Or your guy who always gives you the missions. He's always like, I got to go do this, but then he's just like hiding under his desk or something. And one of my favorite parts too is when you go and you have to poison this food of this guy.
Yeah,
it's like the second level, and then as you're leaving, it's there's all these bad guys trying to stop you.
Oh yeah, and it turns into bowling pins.
Yeah, bowling. Well, it turns into bowling like puns because when you hit them, it makes the sound of bowling pins, and it's like, no, spare me. And then at the very end, one of them is a bowling pin, and you knock him over. Oh, it's so fun.
That game, that is a great 2 hours or whatever it is. But,
yeah, I really like that game.
Yeah, I love indie games because for me, when I don't have as much time and I can play something on my day off and beat it, that's what I like to do. And they're always these weird, crazy, quirky things, and they try they try new things that you don't always expect, and it's nice to be surprised by video games.
Well, that's the great, freedom that they can have with that. Like Stanley's Parable. Ugh.
Oh yeah,
that's a great game. You should try that game. It's actually very simple, very. It's really cool. Stanley Parable, but I don't want to talk too much about it because that's the whole thing.
Oh, yeah. You don't want to ruin it, but man, it messes with your mind. You try to mess with its mind. And
that's it. Don't say anything more. But yeah, so games that we're excited for, obviously Arkham.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be a big one. I'm also excited for Zelda, for the U.
Oh, I'd love to get a Wii U.
That will be the reason. That will be the reason for it.
I got my tax returns back, and I was tempted.
Oh, were you?
I was, but I was like, maybe I'll just wait until Christmas when there's a sale or something.
Yeah, maybe. But also, I don't know if you heard this, but Telltale announced that they're making some kind of they didn't really give much about it, but they're making some kind of media. They teamed up with Lionsgate. It's going to be a TV show / game. Which sounds like what they normally do, but apparently it's not what they normally do. It's going to somehow, by your choices, pick what you watch. It's really confusing. They haven't really explained too much about it, but it's supposed to be a big deal. I don't know what that's about. Have you heard anything about it?
No, I haven't, but I wonder if maybe what you're saying is it's like a choose-your-own-adventure TV series?
I don't know. Because it sounds like what they do.
Their games are normally.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. Telltale's always great, though. I mean, lately.
Right now I'm playing the Game of Thrones thing, and I haven't played the second episode yet. I need to. But so far it's good.
One thing that I'm really surprised about, or at least confused about, is they're doing a Minecraft series, Telltale. Did you know that?
Say that again?
So, Telltale, they're making a Minecraft
story mode.
Which I don't even know.
I probably won't play.
I mean, I could never get too much into, the Sam and Max things. They're funny, and, they have these fun puzzles. But, they can kind of get old for me really quick.
Well, I heard that it's going to go deep. and explain where Minecraft came from.
Like the Matrix or something.
I don't know.
I am the engineer. That would be hilarious.
Some child's, I don't know,
You mean
imagination or something.
like the Lego movie?
Something.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
yeah, I mean, whatever. I mean, I say go for it, and if it's crappy, then don't do it again.
Totes.
But 5 minutes.
Well, another game. Well, what are some other games that we're excited about?
Well, apart from Battlefront 2.
Oh, of course.
So it's a way...
Claro.
3. Battlefront 3.
Battlefront 3.
But,
Yeah, I mean... Oh, and then, some big news coming up is that Bethesda and Nintendo both scheduled their own conferences at E3. That's a big deal. I wonder what Nintendo's going to do. Because they've never done it before. So... What?
well,
Hi, Arthur.
hey.
What would you...
Well, I mean, they do conferences.
Well, they
they didn't last year.
They do their own thing. They do Nintendo Directs.
But
You can say I'm wrong. That's
well,
fine.
Well, they started doing Nintendo Directs last year, but before last year, they'd always done press conference
At E3?
Yeah,
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
yeah. So
I thought you were You can tell me I'm wrong, Arthur.
I don't want to do it on the radio, but here we are.
Go ahead. I don't care. If I'm wrong, I'd rather you tell me I'm wrong than me be wrong
That's
during the
that's
show.
True.
And then
that's
so.
true, I guess.
Well, I just heard that. I at least thought that they haven't done one in a very long time. That's what I thought.
It might have
but
been a while, but
I got
they
you.
certainly have.
But, yeah.
But yes, E3 is coming up. Well, I mean, it's not the near future, but it's coming.
We might have a big announcement with that, but we don't want to go crazy and say that.
No.
Letters.
But,
So we do have a few last minute announcements, which we'll get to here in a second. Someone is making a Minecraft movie.
I did
someone
see
said
that.
Oh, that's interesting. Daniel also says, I hope the new Battlefront is good. Wondering what will go down at E3 this year. I really hope they show some pretty good stuff with that.
they better.
I hope that they at least maybe shed a little more light on the open world Star Wars that they're working on.
I think it's been long enough for them to have finally...
At least know what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my personal opinion is EA's like, we'll make all the Star Wars games, start tomorrow. Like, that's probably what happened. They're like, I don't care what you were doing, make it Star Wars. Start tomorrow.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, they probably spent a lot of money on it. And, it's probably been long enough that they could actually have something, come to show for it.
I think so. So we're going to do our announcements, but as we do our announcements, we're going to do it to a special song. So, as requested. All right. So first off, with getting permission with Pat and stuff like that, we have our Twitch. Every Thursday from now until the end of
Time.
until our next radio show, we're going to be doing Twitch streams as well as YouTube streams every Thursday at about 9 o'clock. Now, this next week, Arthur's going to be out of town, like he said, doing his whole thing he does.
Just Disneyland.
So it'll just be me,
Disneyland.
and I'll probably be playing, I don't know, I'll figure out something fun. It's pretty funny to watch me play Dying Light, because I get petrified at a lot of things. So, so there's that. Also, we're working on a new short we're really excited about. More thing coming up with that. We don't want to say too much. We should tease a little something.
Well, all I can say is bacon flakes, bacon great, so have bacon flakes and bacon cake. That's all I can say.
That's a good one. That's a good tease. Also, final note, I made it on an improv team, and it's called the Improvables. And I really want to invite you all to go check them out and maybe come see a show sometime soon. The information about that is actually in Centerville at 10 p.m. on Fridays at the Centerpoint Legacy Theater every Friday, as well as the second Saturday of the month at 8 p.m. up in Clearfield. So if you live anywhere around there, come check out the show. Go like them on Facebook, facebook.com/improvables. And they also do Twitch streams. So twitchtv.com/improvables. So come check out some awesome improv. So, Arthur, any last words? 30 seconds before we do that. By the way, I love all the improv. Go ahead.
30 seconds. Thanks for listening. And I'm going to be in Disneyland next
Thank you,
week.
Pat, so
You're
much
welcome
for
as
your
always.
help. You're awesome.
It was
Yes,
fun
thank
as
you, Pat.
always. I hope we entertained and enjoyed, and we enjoyed it. That's for sure.
Yeah. Until next month, then.
That's right.